Today we're going to get into a little bit of Illustrator, some more, because I definitely want to see you guys using this in After Effects. So I found this dumb little image here. Not Photoshop, you moron. Wow, that was bad. With Illustrator here. And first, before we get into that, if we look at these, I think this is two good images of that display really what the difference between raster and vector images are. Um, if you look at a raster-sized image, it basically takes pixels to enlarge it. So when you enlarge it, it's guessing, what it should look like. Therefore, it gets pixelated. A vector image uses mathematical equations. So when you enlarge it, it's using math to fill in the blanks. So you could make that dinosaur here, as big as your house, and it would still have sharp edges, which is kind of cool. You'll notice, however, on our displays that we do see some pixelation, and that's generally most likely because of the limit of what our displays are. Alright, so we're going to make this a little bit bigger because obviously it's going to be hard to trace if we don't. And this is where you guys can use those tablets or not if you want. Okay, and then we come over here, we'll notice that we have our layers, and as we draw on here, we're going to get more of these layers, and eventually I think we might even get into After Effects with an Illustrator file and show you how to animate each of these layers on like they're being drawn, but we'll see how that goes. Alright, primarily what we're going to be using is the pen tool, which is not everybody's favorite. If you want to use a tablet, you could take a pencil tool, set your stroke size to whatever you want, and you could theoretically trace this image too. But as of right now, you don't have the tablet hooked up. Alright, and there's two things that we have to be aware of. One is our stroke color, or a fill color, and the other is our stroke color. And you can change the sizes of these. You generally need to do it before you start, drawing your pen. So what I like to do is I like to not have a fill color. You can always go in and add that, and then I'll make my stroke color active down here to bring it on top. And then what we'll do is we have to determine what we think is the bottom part of this image. What's going to be the underneath parts here. And if you ask me, I think the first item that we have to draw is this big stomach area. So I'm going to take my mouse and I'm just going to click somewhere here, and I'm going to click over here again, and I'm just going to bend it. And notice how I have a black stroke. Now we can go back in and change the thickness of this after we're done. I'll show you in a minute. And I'm going to click on that middle anchor. I might come down here and click on the anchor. I don't like how this curves in, so I don't want to have a double curve, so I might bend it here. And we'll come down here. So basically it's just, picking your paths that you want to. If I hold in the space bar, it can move it. If I bring it up too big to where it's not on my stage. Alright, so we're basically going to come around here. I'm just going to try to finish this out. And as you do it, there's really nothing I can tell you as far, it's just practice. Especially knowing, what might be a better point to select. And then we'll close it up right here. Notice as I'm dragging my mouse how it manipulates the item. Alright, now here's the thing you got to be very careful of. I'm going to take my mouse and click off of that because if that way I select it. Now I can come up to here, change my stroke size to 1 if I didn't like how thick it is. You know, I could also select it and make it as fat as I wanted to. Okay, so for this one, I think I'm just going to keep it at 2. Now, also, I can come back in here, select this, bring my fill color up, double click on it, and I can pick, you know, a color. And there we go. Now, the important thing is that you have to make sure that you do not have this selected when you go to change colors or stroke sizes, because whatever it's selected, it's going to change. You have no choice in the matter. All right, so there's that one. And notice if we come over here to our layers, how we have a path here, which is what this is. We turn this off, there we go. We turn off our character, and there we go. And notice I can take that and blow that up as big as I want, and I'm not getting any pixelation. On a raster image, you would. Alright, so let's turn that back off. Then, what we have to determine is what's the next step. So we can come here, we can turn off our layer here. I'm thinking that the next layer that needs to be is either the hands and the feet, or possibly actually the feet might actually need to go below that. So what I think we'll do is we'll select this image, we'll turn this one off so we can see, and I'm going to take my pen tool. I'm going to select no fill again for this, turn my stroke on. I'll have to probably click on my layers over here, click on my image so that we have it above this. If we have this one, the layer will go above it, and we want it to be below. And I'm going to take my pen tool, hold on, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to click on the middle with the little one around. Then I'm going to take this, I'm going to bend it, and just so that we know we have it up underneath, I'm going to come up to here, and I'm going to bend it up a little bit. Now you may be wondering, well, why do we have this? Because I want to make sure we don't have any gaps. Okay, so what I think we'll do, we'll turn the fill color on, and we'll make this a different color so that way we can see how they differently react. We'll come back to here, we'll turn on our layers over here, and it still put it above. So what we'll do is we'll take this path and we'll drag it underneath. Alright, so now there you have it. We have our leg, and it's underneath our character. He's already starting to take shape. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do the other leg. We're going to select our pen tool. And if you want, I'm going to go ahead and try to do this with a stroke, or the fill color already there. We'll bring that forward. Okay, and then we're going to come over to here, bend this a little bit, click that, bend that. And notice how difficult it can be if we have the fill. But there again, we have that, and we're going to have to take this path and drag it underneath. So there we go. We have our character, and he has his feet now. The next thing that we have to determine is what, again, is going to be the next. And I think the next item, we turn this off that we can see. It can either be the hands, or it could be this little section here. Now this layer here is going to have two different layers. It's going to have the belt, and we're going to have a layer for the buckle, unless you want to put it all in the same thing. I suggest, you know, for right now we put it all on the same layer, but you know, it doesn't have to be. Turn that back off, and let's go ahead and do this little belt here. So I'm going to take my pen tool, and we're going to take it over here. And actually I want to bend that here. And you're going to want to make sure that we get over to where the stomach is, because we want that to be, we don't want to have two lines here. So that's where it gets kind of tricky. So we're going to come down to here. I'm going to turn off my fill because that's just driving me nuts. Turn this back on. So, okay, we're all right. And so now I'm going to bend this. And the thing to remember, too, is that it does not have to be perfect as it is sketched, okay? It just has to be relatively close to what it is. We're not dealing with, you know, professional stuff here. So there's that, and we have our belt. So I think I'm going to set a fill color, you know, again, something a little bit different so that we know it stands out. And so there we have it so far. We have our character coming to shape. On to the next layer, we're going to go ahead and do the hands here because we want them to actually be on top. And I think we won't put a closing mark on them. We'll just leave them kind of open. And we're going to make this the same color as our feet. So I'm going to sample. Where's my eyedropper? There we go. Now we sampled the same color. Come back to our pen tool. And we're going to just go ahead and do this. Bend this out. Click the middle. Bend this. Click the middle. And we'll go ahead and give them, we'll close them up. If we were going to keep the same color, I would say, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's click on the eyedropper. We'll sample that color, and there we go. So we have a little open arm into our body. Come back to our pen tool. Click here. Actually, let's click in a little bit here. Nope, we'll click right on the line. And we will do this. Click in the middle. Click on the middle. And click in the middle. And notice how I didn't get that exactly right. So what we'll do is we'll just move that in a little bit. You know, yeah, we kind of got off of our drawing, but such is life. Turn off our image, and here we go, man. Our dude is starting to take shape. And so what I want you guys to finish doing now is you're going to finish this rest of this drawing. I'll finish mine. I'll pause this. I'll finish my drawing, and we'll come back and see what you guys have looking at. Also, I noticed I forgot my buckle. Might want to add that in. Real quick before I do that, what we might do is just take an ellipse tool here. We'll pick a funky color, like a yellow, a crazy yellow, and we will just draw that. There we go. And like I said, I'll pause this, I'll finish my character, and come back and see what you guys have. Alright, see you in a minute. So I finished my little guy here. I tried to do it pretty quickly. And if I turn off my original drawing, there we go. Alright, so and this here can be used in a number of things. And again, once we start making it bigger, notice how there is no pixelation, which is so cool with vector graphics. And again, you can even take this into whatever. I might just show you that real quick. And that, well, actually, we might do that into another video. We might use like the puppet tool to move these arms a little bit and show you how you can animate this stuff even though it's drawing. Notice how this feather thing, whatever the heck of this hat, is below the hair. I didn't put the hair on his face. I thought, what the heck. But these are all just editable paths. And again, like I said, we could probably take these into After Effects, I think. and actually have each of these paths draw on separately, and we might cover that as well. But that is a little introduction into drawing in Illustrator. Um, it's kind of fun, and you can just basically take any image and you can trace over it yourself and become a pretty cool little artist. So that is that, and you'll need to complete this, and we will go on to the next. Later.